So yeah, I'm Chris Duddridge, VP of Sales for EMEA for Sirocco. We're a discovery company, and we focus on using task discovery that's powered by AI and machine learning. James and Owen asked me to share some insights today, and I thought actually, based on what we're talking to quite a lot of the market about, there's a really interesting topic about the illusion of knowledge and knowing how your teams get work done. But in this instance, I'm going to turn that round to a conversation around how do you know how your teams get deals done. So I thought I'd start quickly by just a sort of a level set that I think is important for everyone to understand. Those that lead teams, those that lead sales orgs, revenue operations. And I think it's an important thing that we all look to ourselves to understand, which is actually that the greatest obstacle to discovering new items is not ignorance, but it's the illusion that you have the knowledge. And the Zen for sales in this insight is that you can't improve what you don't measure, but most importantly, you can't measure what you do not see. And I think that's a really important thing to be thinking about now, because as everyone knows, work has changed fundamentally forever for everyone, including me sitting on that sofa running one of my QBRs or deal reviews. But I think nearly all, if not every single one of the sales leaders in the last 24 months has seen their mode of operation change beyond recognition. Okay, and those that have led their organizations through the challenges that were faced by COVID have actually really been given a fantastic opportunity to really see how work gets done. And I like to ask the question of, what did you learn? For me, I was leading UiPath in the UK and Ireland in our journey towards IPO. COVID was really particularly unhelpful and forced me to have to really understand parts of the business that I hadn't previously understood because there was assumptions, but I could also touch and feel and understand everything that was happening in front of me. But when everyone got sent home, of course, it really forced us to understand, do I know how work gets done within my organization? Now, this is the problem statement that we talk to many of our customers about when we're using task discovery to understand, what is happening within their organization. And this is a very, very scary fact, but most certainly true in sales. And that is that 80% of everyone's interactions at work are undocumented, or worst case, unstructured in nature. That is very relevant. And most people will understand that when you think about a salesperson's use of technology at work and the processes that they follow, when you think beyond CRM and potentially their interactions with finance tools, very little of that is actually structured. There's a lot of creativity, there's a lot of thought, there's a lot of intelligence that goes into managing the process of sales. So I think this is really where the biggest challenge for sales leaders is at this present day in time, where I think the leaders just do not have it easy. The constant pressure for revenue, the constant pressure for being able to report accurate figures, accurate forecasts, and the performance of their teams. It's accelerating beyond belief. And especially if you are in a startup environment or you are working towards growing the business at a rate that's not just a 10% year-on-year growth rate, but actually is looking to double, triple, quadruple numbers. Actually, the knowledge you have today of how you're doing business is perishable. And actually, this is where the biggest priority for sales leaders is to stay ahead of the game. Now, we did a piece of work with the Harvard Business Review, and I have to admit, it was not myself, it was far more intelligent people within our business. But it actually assessed that in unseen work, there was some research done to show that there is a challenge that in some organizations, the understanding of what their teams are doing to get work done, the gap of that can be as big as 2/3 of the knowledge of how that work gets undertaken. Now, our technology itself with organizations, and this is outside of sales, can reduce that gap. But it really gets me thinking about how much of the work that your teams are delivering is unseen, unknown, and actually unclear to you. So when I think about that from a sales perspective, and I most certainly include myself in this, the biggest problems we face as sales leaders is sales order processing misses in the revenue process and actually missing from quarter to quarter in terms of landing deals. The legal approval review process, and actually that you understand that your sales teams can run that effectively with the team that's supporting them to get that done in time to recognize revenue within a quarter. the forecast accuracy that exists within your business, and slippages behind that that are based on not understanding how to get that work done. Recognizing revenue, of course, is always a big challenge, and I always like to say taking the P, but actually that's the P in MedPick in terms of the paper process, and really understanding that that is being managed properly. CRM data and the accuracy of the account level detail that's being captured, so that you're not misunderstanding where you're at in the sales cycle. Salespeople leaving and attrition, handovers not being effective, deals being lost to sloppy process and sloppy understanding of how we're supporting those customers. And fundamentally, the world's best trained bullshitters. We all understand that many people can sell very effectively, but they can also sell their capability very well internally. And all of these things, including a number more, will actually hamper the results that you have within the business if you do not understand that your team are proficient in all areas of this. Now, if all of those problems seem like they're relevant to you, it is quite possibly time you took a look at what you can't see. And that is an exercise that can be done with technology. And we do work with many organizations where we're mapping sales process. But fundamentally, a lot of that just comes from not having an illusion of knowledge and really looking to understand how does work get done in your organization, because there is an incredible amount of value that's locked in that understanding. But for me, I really do believe that the rise of revenue intelligence and revenue operations is something that people cannot live without now. As a leader of a B2B SaaS business or any business that has complex client interactions, and much like the BBC, many other tools are available. But some of the solutions that I've used in my career that have helped really demystify some of the challenges that exist around understanding where you are at in deal cycles, whether or not that opportunity is actually strong, and at the end, and that your salespeople are following that through with a high likelihood of that business closing. I believe that these tools can no longer be ignored. And for me, this is fundamentally what I wanted to just share in my 10 minutes today, which is that if you do not know how work gets done in your organization, please go take a look, but also look to work with organizations that help you demystify that challenge within business. And I think, looking at time, I think we're up. I've tried to rally through that to get you back on schedule, Owen, James. But if anyone wants to talk to me and go deeper on that and my experiences with the tools and with revenue operations as a key priority, then I'd be happy to.